It's been about a week since I installed these outdoor speakers from OSD. As of right now, I see them for $249 a pair. And if you can't watch this entire video, the lowdown is that if you're looking for some outdoor speakers, you know, you're not expecting the best possible sound at this particular price range. And I would say that these are pretty good. You might want to take a look at them. They're not perfect. They don't give you the most accurate frequency response. They don't have a ton of bass. So my overall recommendation would be to, yeah, you can use something like this. They actually have a different pair that isn't directly Bluetooth, which I think would be better because it gives you some room to expand. And so you can use those, use a subwoofer, and then I think you'll have a pretty nice system. With these, because they're Bluetooth and you're connecting to them directly, I don't know of any way to connect a subwoofer to them. There might be a way just using the two wires coming out of the active speaker, but it's not ideal, and I would recommend taking a look at some different options. As far as experience, I can say we had a party for my brother-in-law's birthday, and you know, it was nice. We had an outdoor gathering, just relaxing, but once we got the speaker set up, it kind of changed the whole vibe. All right, so there it is. The wiring we still need to clean up, but that's for another day. But hey, the music's working, so it's all good. All right, here we go. It just made the whole experience more enjoyable, even as background music. Sometimes we turned it up and became foreground music.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Especially that tuba, right?
Overall, I think it's just one of those things where, yeah, if you want to create a good vibe, you got to have some music playing. Come on. One thing I need to mention is OSD is a channel sponsor. They sent these out free for me to review. That doesn't affect my opinion. I'm allowed to say whatever I want. All right, right now I'm about to do a listening test of these OSD BTP650s over Bluetooth. So let's see how it sounds.
You agree? I just met your roommate, put him on my to-do list.
Right, so after listening to these for a little while, I came to the conclusion that they sound like what I would expect for outdoor speakers. Now, these are the first outdoor speakers I've ever reviewed, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but just to explain it, it kind of reminds me of the sound of, think about like a miniature PA outdoor system, right? Meaning that it sounds loud, it sounds clear, and doesn't sound very accurate, right? And I think that the measurements will show that, you know, there's just something that sounds, I don't know, maybe a little bit like missing in the mid-range, upper mid-range area. The treble seems a little bit boosted, which is typical from what I've seen from OSD speakers so far. Yeah, I don't know if it's an outdoor speaker thing, but you know, I don't think that the rules would actually change as far as what you would want from an outdoor speaker. I would also want an accurate outdoor speaker, and because you don't have to worry about those reflections as much as you have to worry about them indoors, you know, you think that if it was accurate within the listening window, that it would actually sound better. So I still think that the preferred frequency response on these should be something close to flat and even off axis. I don't believe that these are. These get pretty loud, right? Pretty loud, like more than enough to annoy your neighbors and things like that. You probably don't want to blast these at max, but they can. If you want to have an outdoor party, you can do that. But I think this is more about functionality. It's very simple to use, simple to hook up. Everything is made to be used outdoors. You know, everything is weather sealed, as you can see from the different connections and the way everything is built. So I think as far as that, I think that these are meant for that purpose. They're meant to survive outdoor use. And I think that they'll do that pretty well based on the build quality. All right, about to set up these speakers right now. Let's see what we got. All right, so inside the box, got the two speakers. There they are. All right. All right. So one side is the powered side. So this is where everything plugs in. Power. And then the terminals. And then this is a nice little touch here. Even the power button has some weather sealing there to make sure nothing happens. All right, very cool. So the other one is just the passive speaker. So you can kind of see the speaker inside, kind of nice. I've seen this with the grill off. It has kind of like a waveguide here, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, good looking speaker overall. And it does have a cover for each of these, so there's the cover for that. Nice touch. You can tell that this is well suited for outdoor use. Up here you see that there's a pattern here so that it can grip for the mounts. Alright, here's the other cover for the other side. You can see there, wire comes out. Inside this box here, have a bunch of stuff. So here we have the mounts, and so this will allow it to kind of swivel and turn depending on which way you have it. So there's that. You screw this into the wall, and this attaches to the speakers. These are the knobs to lock it into place. Here you have a long, I think this is 25 feet, speaker terminal to connect one speaker to the other, so the active to the passive. And then you have this waterproof electric amp driver. So this is good. Anything electrical, you're gonna want to make sure that it's made for outdoor use, because it rains, you know, there's condensation, things that you don't want to interact with your electrical stuff. So there you have it, 3-prong. The other thing that you'll notice about this, it's a long cable, and even how it connects to this, you'll see here, it connects in, but then also screws in so that that part is kind of sealed off. So very good. Everything is well thought out. Let's take a look at the frequency response measurements of this speaker. Let's just take a quick look here. And you see, first thing I notice is what is going on here, you know, around 1 kilohertz. Huge dip. I'm talking about like, what is that? Like, yeah, huge, right? And so huge and not narrow, this is something that you would notice. Now, what I would also say is that this is what I was hearing in my listening, but also that if there was a dip somewhere in the response, this is the most acceptable place, in my opinion, because this is where your ears are the most sensitive. That's not an excuse, but if there was a peak here, I would probably hate that. But because there's a dip, I don't like that. But if there's anywhere that there's going to be a dip in this area, I would prefer it to be in this area where your hearing is the most sensitive. I don't know if they did that on purpose or not, but very weird that they would have it there. The other thing is you'll notice a rising response. So this is going to be bright. I don't know if that's also what they were going for, because they're outdoor speakers. You're kind of trying to cut through outside noise. I'm not sure. You know, I'm not the one who designed these, so I'm just calling it how I see it. Throughout the bass, lower mids, this looks decent here. And so we are at 88 hertz at minus 3 dB. That's not great as far as bass response, but let's take a look real quick at minus 6 dB. So we said we're at what, 91.5? Maybe around here, we're at 70. So you're getting audible bass, right? So this is not typically how you want to measure bass, but audible bass, maybe around the high 50s. Not great, not terrible. I would expect a little bit more from a 6.5 inch actually. I don't know if they're doing that because they expect these to be near a wall where you're gonna have some boundary gain, and so you're gonna get an enhancement in bass. Maybe. I don't know. Let's take a look. Horizontal off axis at 45 degrees. Looks pretty decent. You get a little bit of a fall off here in the treble, which is what you expect, but generally it's kind of tracking the same as on axis. Above, what you're noticing is a deeper notch here around that 1.2 kilohertz region, but other than that, everything else looking generally the same. Not, I mean, there's some deviation here, of course. Let's see, 45 degrees below, better, right? So if you had to have a choice, you'd want to be below that tweeter, which makes sense. That's probably where you're going to be. If you're placing these outdoors, what are the chances you're going to be above the speakers? A lot less likely. So that's good to see that the 45 degrees below the tweeter is kind of tracking about what you'd expect on axis. Now, the other thing I was wondering is whether Bluetooth would actually make a difference, whether they use some DSP to kind of maybe change up those settings. And from what I'm seeing here, it doesn't seem like there is much difference. Right? I don't think that they're using DSP to correct this. If they were, I would probably correct this piece here and maybe extend the bass out a little further. But yeah, there is a difference that you see here, but it could just be because I might have measured it slightly different, maybe because it was via Bluetooth. I mean, there's not a drastic difference here, and definitely not what I would do if I had DSP to correct this. So yeah, I don't think that they're using DSP. All right, so overall conclusion, if you're looking for some outdoor speakers and you just want a simple setup, you just want to connect directly with Bluetooth, you're not looking for anything fancy, you don't plan on upgrading and expanding and adding more speakers, I think this is a good option. The whole idea is just to kind of create a vibe, create a little bit of ambiance with some music in the backyard, patio, wherever you're going to place these, and that's it. Don't expect the craziest audiophile grade sound. It's not that. Come on, let's be honest. But I think for the price, it's up for you to decide whether that's worth it. I don't know of any other speakers that perform better because this is the first outdoor speaker that I've actually reviewed. All right, so let's go ahead and put these on speaker leaderboard and see where they place. All right, so here we are at the speaker leaderboard, and here's the OSD BTP650. This is the only outdoor speaker I've reviewed, so as far as ranking, it's at the very top. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. Anyway, that's it. Take care. Bye-bye.